So, but the first 6 months, we were very clear कि creators को ना हमें brand advocate बनाना है. Understood the D2C business a little bit more better with my research, etc. But universe had something else written. My hunger to not prove them right was stronger. That urgency teaches you a lot of things. We don't call ourselves an ethnic fashion brand. We call ourselves an Indian fashion brand. And everybody asks me, इसका क्या difference है? एक ही तो बात हुई.
Hey there, welcome to Marketing Mavericks with Indiefolio. Today we have Nisha Khatri with us, who's the head of marketing at Libas. We deep dive into Nisha's very unique journey where she studied political science, went into fashion styling, and now is heading marketing at one of the most hyper growth startups in the fashion space. We discuss specialization versus depth and discuss what it really takes for a young marketer to become a leader one day. Hey Nisha, thanks for your time and welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Kevin. Happy to be here.
Super stoked to have a conversation with you. Often a lot of marketers, the younger ones especially, are confused about what an ideal career path looks like. And I think when I went through what you've done, it was so exciting to see the kind of variety you have in the categories and the specializations you've built so far. So keen to kind of unlock your journey, but just before that, right, let me take you back to when you were studying political science, right?
Yeah.
Can you kind of tell us, while you were studying that, I think your first job was in marketing and fashion. So how is it that somebody who was doing something so different decided to become a marketer?
All right. So well, my foray with it started in school, right? Where I took the specialization you take after 11. So I took humanities. While a lot of people take it because they suck at maths or that's not their aptitude, I actually took it because the science of politics always really made me very curious.
Mhm.
So I am as a person, somebody I think I've come to realize now, you always can only draw the dots by looking back. So what I realized was that I have realized is that I think I'm somebody who's very big on morals and values. And I think the science of political science for me was something which I could kind of experiment with that. So when I started doing that in school, and that's what I realized that, okay, that's really something which is gonna make me question a lot of stuff. One thing led to another, kind of came to college and did my honors in political science. And also I did it from DU. So I don't know, have you done your education from DU?
No, I have not. I'm from Bombay.
You're from Bombay. Okay. So anybody who has been in DU knows, especially North Campus, which is where I was, know that what does that do to you? Right after school, that world of DU, the lectures, the professors, the societies the college has really make you a different person if you're willing to. So I was doing that in college. I was also the editor in chief of my college magazine, etc. So that really interested me. Also in college, I was just not studying. Right after all the 3 years of my college, I would rush back to India Today, which is where I was interning for the second half of my day.
Mm.
So that's how I started, and I started my career early into editorial world. I started working with Harper Bazaar Bride. So I think what it taught me really was taste, fashion, culture. But I did that for so long. After that, I did like celebrity styling also. But I did that for so long, Kavan, that I think I really understood how budgets are made, how shoots are done, how do you soothe egos, when to disappear from the scene and when to speak, because if you do not speak, your silence will cost work and maybe business. So one thing led to another, and slowly and gradually it taught me like how all of this is done. And then eventually, after a couple of years, I realized that, okay, I have a lot more to contribute and already know the groundwork, and I'm already a good executioner, and now would want to be part of the decision making process, which is where I joined Campus Shoes, where my first marketing sense started. I was reporting to both the CMO and the CSO on the branding and the e-commerce side of the business. I was part of Campus's IPO journey. It taught me and built me into a complete marketer. And mind you, this was during the 2 years of COVID. So we all had to pivot as marketeers. So that growth journey was really exponential for me. After that, I got into my first leadership role at Publicis, where I was hired as an associate vice president, where I was hired to set up the entire vertical of social commerce for a brand like Amazon. And the challenge was to build the softline category. I mean, in 2022, nobody was really considering Amazon for softline. For fashion, you would go to, say, a Mintra or an Agio, and for beauty, you'll go to Nykaa. So the challenge was multifold because they also wanted to build consideration with Gen Zs. But we did that, delivered a GMV of 280 CR with 2,500 influencers pan India. Took a break for 8 months after that. Started doing my diploma in counseling, therapy, was doing it for fun. Did 5 diplomas. I realized, wait, I'm 3 diplomas shy away from a degree. Got a degree, started my own podcast. Very interesting. Honestly, I think I needed to do that podcast for myself more in that moment, but I had a lot of fun doing it. Again, like was really on the ground, editing content, etc. So started understanding the changing way of content consumption as well. I also explored a couple of stints with understanding entrepreneurship. That was also something I was exploring at that point of time. Understood the D2C business a little bit more better with my research, etc. But Universe had something else written. Met Siddhant, who's a CEO and founder at Libas right now, and joined Libas as head of marketing. Now it's been 2 years that I'm here.
Fantastic. I think what an incredible journey, and thank you for kind of giving us a quick understanding of everything you've done. But I am going to ask you a bunch of questions right throughout all these decisions you made in
Sure.
your career. And the first one always, what the first question I really have for you, which got me very curious, is getting that internship or even that first job in a category which you've not really studied for, right? Um, I've often seen people that they're studying one thing, but they've realized through their extracurriculars or just exposing themselves to other friends and things that they like something else. And the doubt they have is, "Ki, yaar, I've not studied this. Do I know this? Will somebody trust me?" You ended up interning with a large brand too at the end of the day. So how do you really crack your first job, or even if it is an internship or a full-time role, when you don't really have any degree as such?
Yeah. No, see, these are honestly fair apprehensions to have because I had them as well. My hunger to not prove them right was stronger. It's just that. I think for a good part of my career, I've had major insecurities about what everyone was doing in school. Everybody was taking science and commerce, and our structure, our social structure, has kind of glorified those streams. In college, I was not the best of the student. I don't think I've ever been like the best of the student. But I think that builds up eventually, because now it has been X many years where when you enter the real world, you see people achieving tangible things because school it doesn't hit you as much. College also it doesn't hit you as much because the real life hasn't begun. When real life begins, it really starts hitting you, okay, what next? Because an
Mm,
overall structure is not protecting you anymore, where in school you get saved for, let's say, 14 years, in college you get saved for 3 years, but after that, now you are your own person and the world will see you for you who you are, right?
right.
So for me, like that was stronger. Like I also had these things, but I think just to be shameless, I was very shameless. I would just shamelessly cold call and cold write and just appear and will not take no as an answer. And I think, I know it sounds very cliche, but I think the universe bows down in front of stubborn people because you don't take no for an answer. So I'll tell you, like when I did my first job, it was with this startup called Mr. Button,
Mm,
and I worked with them for a year. बोलने को I was a brand manager there, but like everybody knows in a startup, like you do everything. Also,
yeah.
this is early 2012. So e-commerce word was also for crazy people जो पता नहीं क्या ही कर रहे हैं किसी को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा डी टू सी तो वर्ड ही नहीं था तो ई कॉमर्स वॉज ऑल्सो वेरी अर्ली सो आई वाज वी वर ऑल्सो फिगरिंग आउट लाइफ कि ट्रैफिक कैसे लेके आए राइट द बिगेस्ट कॉन्वर्जेशन यूज टू बी देयर विच इज स्टिल देयर आई थिंक दिस ऑलवेज विल बी कि फुटफॉल ट्रैफिक कैसे लेके आओ बट दैट उस टाइम पे तो everybody was just figuring out things so I just worked I just wrote met and I think timing aligned and I just started working. But when I joined Harper's Bazaar Bride after that, because I did not had a fashion degree, I interned for 3 months after working for a year with zero stipend. For 3 months, I was working without any stipend. And honestly, I wanted to work as a fashion stylist because as a girl growing up, that's what you really look up to and you are like so glamorized by it. But there was no opening for fashion stylist, but there was an opening for fashion producer. I
Mm.
grabbed it. I was like, okay. So I think anybody who wants to do that, I think don't let your fears define you. It is as simple as that. Like the world will tell you many things, your brain will tell you many things because the world is telling you many things. You do your best, and maybe you will not get absolutely what you want in that moment, but you will reach one step closer to, reaching closer to your goal. And your goals also keep changing. You might want to do something you don't know. Maybe that's a lucky coincidence which happened for you, which you will be grateful for when you go back further. But I think today, though, it's much better. There is so much more information. At my time, for me, fashion, the reason I wanted to do styling was because fashion का मतलब ही यही होता था या तो आप डिजाइनर बनो या फिर आप किसी मैगजीन में जाके काम करो. Now I am heading marketing for a fashion brand. So see, like the journey kept coming together, right? Like if I look back now, like it's such a full circle movement. But I'm doing so much more. I'm still into fashion, women fashion. But if I would have thought about this at that moment, I think things would not be have been the same.
I want to now jump into, I think what you touched upon in the start, which is when you were in Publici, right?
Yeah.
You did social commerce, and I think what was very exciting to read on your LinkedIn was with Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world, you ended up, I think generating crores of rupees by engaging with a lot of, influencers. If you
Yeah.
kind of go and uh, Google influencer marketing or even attend any of these conferences, people often say it's dying, it's
Hmm.
dead, it doesn't work, and so on, right? As of
Hmm.
2026, like what's your opinion on influencer marketing, and does it work? If so, what works in that?
I mean, definitely it works. We all know this, right? For us at that particular time, marketing for brands had pivoted extremely because of COVID, right? Consumption
Hmm.
patterns had become multifold online. 5G was coming in. So that overall compounding effect on the ecosystem was all digital assets and digital way of consumption, either shopping or content, was becoming really strong. So that insight was very simple for us, right? Um, Ads were moving to influencers and then to now we do influencer ads. So that's how we pivoted. But I
Correct.
think influencers definitely are the future. Ab now in influencers also we are seeing कि now it is micro influencers, right? Because
Hmm.
saturation आ गया लोगों का. Now because this Gen Z has grown up seeing everything, they can spot an ad from like a 10-kilometer distance,
Hmm.
right? So there is that oversaturation. So we at that time that hadn't come. So it was still a fresher space for creators to come into being, create content. So all of that was simple. I think that is the future. Even now, influencers, we have not completely shied away. But I was also very sure of one thing, Kavan, because I was doing social commerce. आप literally influencers को बोल रहे हो बेचो. After 6 months we told Amazon के we can't directly create content now because 6 महीने ही पूरी दुनिया बेच रही थी लोगों को कपड़े या कुछ भी. So we realized कि ऐसे directly नहीं बेचना है. 6 महीने बाद भी fought with Amazon. We said कि no, let creator do what they want to do. You want a certain revenue from the creator, they will deliver. Let them do it what works on their platform. But it took time. You can't scream before you speak, of course. So but the first 6 months we were very clear कि creators को ना हमें brand advocate बनाना है. हमको उनको बिकवाना नहीं है डायरेक्टली बोल के. We enable them because you're giving them a certain principle of money to create content, and next is commission. So we made sure that we make them understand of the practices which China has been so successfully able to achieve. Like there, though it's a billion-dollar business, social commerce, right? In one day sale of Alibaba, they do like so many billions of sales. So we made this understand to them. We made them understand and become entrepreneurs. The quality of your content will decide how much money you make. So they understood this and they could see it. We have seen creators from 2,000 followers to reach a million followers. We have seen creators from earning 8,000 to 10,000 a month to earning a commission of 2 to 3 lakhs a month in the same ecosystem. So we have seen micro to macro journey, and we have seen also the revenue journey that multifold, because they understood that my money earning commission capacity depends on my content. So you are actually making them understand the game. But this
Hmm.
is easier said than done because this is a very interpersonal conversation system. So I had to work very hard with all my program manager. My one program manager was working for 50 influencers. And this is not a 9 to 5 job when you're a program manager, because influencers don't work on a 9 to 5 timing. They work anytime they want to work. So to build that sort of discipline into them, to be able to train them to use dashboards so that they can track their own success and get that dopamine hit that, okay, I'm earning this much, let me push. So they themselves started doing extra stories. They themselves started creating better content. We started teaching them, why don't you do a basic setup where you have a ring light, a plain white curtain, steam iron clothes. So little things, I think. But in today's world, if I talk about, let's say for Libas right now, we work with creators very differently. We don't do one influencer deal with them. मतलब ये तो basic mandate है कि 3 से 4 content pieces बनाने ही है. If I'm working with, say, if say you are managing social media for Libas, if you are working with Nisha should be somebody who the customers, when they see, they know, okay, oh, she's a Libas influencer, she's a Libas person. That will not happen with one deal. You create an influencer reel and you're like, bye bye. I
Hmm.
should be able to do that volume, value, and then volume in that value is something I think is the future. And how do you use them outside your digital assets? We do so many community events in our stores. We make sure that our influencers are part of it, our customers are part of it. So it is an entire festival which we do, like any store launch, any Lodi festival, any Rakhi, any Karwa Chauth event. We do it both influencers and customers.
Absolutely. I want to now, talk a little bit about Libas, right? First is, why did you want to join this, right? I think cluttered space, a lot of people are doing this, I would guess. So anything different which kind of excited you, which you're excited to build?
See, like my last stint before Libas was a break, where I was doing podcasting and all of that. Before that, I was in Publicis, where I was doing social commerce. मजा आया, deliver भी करा deliverables, but social commerce ही था, influence ही था, limited था, right?
Hmm.
अब उससे
Hmm.
पहले कैंपस चूज किया था, पूरा ब्रांड किया था, तो एक चीज पता चल गई कि ब्रांड करने में ही मजा आता है, पूरा ओनरशिप करने में, कि एजेंसी, मैंने एजेंसी लाइफ से शुरू नहीं किया, बट मैं बीच में गई. दैट अर्जेंसी टीचेस यू अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग, एंड publicist था तो कंप्लायंस और स्ट्रक्चर बहुत बड़ा था, तो वो सब भी सीखा.
Hmm.
बट ये समझ आ गया कि ओनरशिप पसंद है. सो शुरू से लेके लास्ट तक अच्छा बुरा इज माइन. ठीक है. सो दैट आई वॉज वेरी क्लियर ऑन. तो Libas particularly, because of course I just told you that when I joined the dot, now I can see that fashion and etc etc. But yeah, I met Siddhant, who's our founder, and really loved his vision. Really love what he has built. There's no brand who's doing what we are doing in this space. Closing the year on 800 CR, कोई आसपास भी नहीं है. Such a small brand, such a short journey in terms of, when we have achieved this. So all of this was very inspiring, and Siddhant as a founder also loved his vision. So all of these things together, of course the role was very exciting. It felt very challenging as head of marketing, heading so many departments under them, uh, under it. And like, also the journey that Libas is on now, we are IPO bound. Very, very excited for that. So could see that the next couple of years, what I'm gonna when I be here, I will get to do lot many things which A will be challenging, B will be gratifying, and overall, of course, the entire thing of owning it. and building something. I love building brands. That's what I've done. Like wherever I've worked in the past, like I love that hustle, especially D2C space. I think that the growth is so much. You learn to do, you're learning on the job, you're building new things. And a D2C ecosystem is also, much more welcoming and much more encouraging in
Mm.
terms of, okay, you want to do it, take ownership, run with it, deliver on it, move fast. I like the speed of things here. One of our pillars is speed. Our three pillars are speed, collaboration, technology, and speed is a very important pillar. That's what makes us an ultra fast fashion brand. So we want to make Libas the sheen of India. We want to make Libas the sheen of Indian fashion,
Mhm.
replacing H&M and Zara in the Indian fashion space. What I really loved about the vision was that we don't call ourselves an ethnic fashion brand. We call ourselves an Indian fashion brand. And everybody asks me इसका क्या difference है? एक ही तो बात हुई, एक बात नहीं हुई, क्योंकि जब आप इंडियन एथनिक फैशन बोलते हो, आप समझते हो कुर्ता कुर्ती। हाँ, हम कुर्ता कुर्ती बनाते हैं, दैट डज वेरी वेल फॉर अस, बट हम और भी चीज़ें बनाते हैं, हम और भी चीज़ें बनाना चाहते हैं। तो इंडियन फैशन को कुर्ता कुर्ती ही क्यों होना है?
Mm.
वाई कांट, लाइक अगर शीन पे सब कुछ मिलता है, एक्सेसरी से लेके चप्पल से लेके बैग से लेके सब कुछ, तो एक इंडियन फैशन ब्रांड पे वो सब कुछ क्यों नहीं मिल सकता है? सो आई लव
Absolutely.
दैट विजन।
Well, that's some incredible growth. I have to ask you though that as an entrepreneur, when I observe this space, it's really cluttered. While there are examples like your company who've done really well, there are so many more examples of companies who've not been able to differentiate. So, what does it really take to shine out in this category?
So see, firstly, to answer two-part question, right? Okay, what should people do starting 0 to 1, and also why such a cluttered space? So to answer the first question, why such a cluttered space? Have you ever been to any Libas store, Kavan?
Unfortunately, not.
No, matlab, for you it's a little non-category also. But if you must firstly, and if you do, you will observe one thing, that our store, while the facade is very purple and very bright, and of course it's what invites you in. Once you enter our store, it's very pastel, very white, very plain, non-cluttered. Matlab, we are very very particular about removing anything in the flow of cl- your walking journey, and there should be no clutter. That was the problem with the industry, that if you look at all the legacy brands, all their campaigns, एक महल है, उस आर्च है, उस कुछ कैंपेन शूट करना है, जयपुर जाके शूट कर लो, दिया है, गेंदा है, heavy carpet है, रेड है, राइट? That's what the
Mhm.
category has been. We didn't want to do that. We
Hmm.
are serving modern Indian day women. Who is a modern Indian day woman? क्या हम दिवाली पार्टी पे हार पहन के जाते हैं, शादी पे हार पहन के जाता है? You tell me any girl you know, if your sister, your friend or anybody you know who's gotten married, जो उन्होंने ज्वेलरी शादी पे बनाई होती है, वो हर दिन पहन रहे हैं अगर?
Correct, never.
नहीं पहन रहे हैं, राइट? कोई नहीं पहन रहा है। कौन लहंगे पहन रहा है दिवाली पार्टी पे? कोई नहीं पहन रहा है। बट दैट्स व्हाट वी वर मार्केटिंग फॉर इंडियन फैशन। You were just not
Hmm.
resonating with how modern Indian women is. 80% of the women wear Indian wear to work still. These are studies. Okay. So we knew that fact. And I was like, if that is happening, why do we have to make it so like heavy, cluttered, etc., etc., etc.? Why does our communication has to be that we have worked very, very hard to differentiate ourselves from that narrative of Indian fashion? तो इसलिए हम तो पहले सबसे पहले तो ethnic word ही नहीं use करते हैं.
Hmm.
Indian fashion. But it doesn't mean like if I wear suits to work, I wear kurta to work, but why does it have to be a certain way?
Hmm.
Why does the communication has to be a certain way? So it's not about entering a cluttered industry. It's about like what are you giving to the customers? Do you understand what the problem statement is? Or even if you don't understand there's a problem, do you see a problem in the existing system and solve for it? I think which is what
Right.
Libas was able to do. To answer your second question, what should anybody who's starting young, which is what something we have also understood, right, by learning and trying as a business and also just being good observers. इतना data available है अब तो मतलब there's so much like journeys people talk about themselves. I don't think it's really important क्या शुरू करना चाहिए आप कुछ भी थोड़ा सा रिसर्च करो ज़्यादा भी टाइम नहीं लगाना चाहिए इसके ऊपर because then you're losing time. I mean why sometimes it's important to also do your due diligence, but just get into it. Start any product where you see that you're solving a problem. Launch one product. Go crazy on distribution.
Hmm.
Today you have quick commerce. I mean, it's just so much easier for
Yeah.
you to build that top of mind awareness for your product. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ लाइक लॉन्चिंग 10 प्रोडक्ट्स, ये भी करेंगे वो भी करेंगे, कलर निकालेंगे, मेंस भी करेंगे वुमेन्स भी करेंगे, आप अपना कोई भी एक प्रोडक्ट निकालिए जहाँ पे आपको लगता है आप कुछ सॉल्यूशन दे रहे हैं, जो problem statement, right? It could be a niche also. Go crazy on distribution. I think that is, at least for the next 2 3 years, is a safe space. We are all also figuring out technology and what will be the new consumption patterns of customers will be. But for at least now, for next couple of years, we are good to just go crazy on distribution.
Fantastic. No, I think that's a great framework for anybody to understand, right? Like based on an insight, understand what the competition is doing incorrectly. And I think at the end of the day, it's all about understanding the customer deeply, which is what I constantly hear, when you said what you said. So, superb. Thanks for that. I want to just kind of jump into the last part of the chat now. Um,
Yeah.
you know, um, I want to now ask a question on behalf of the Indiefolio network. So Indiefolio is a
Okay.
network of design and video experts. Okay, agency
Hmm.
founders, freelancers, production heads are all part of our network, and we connect them to brands. They are very excited about the apparel and fashion space because it needs so much creative.
Hmm.
But the anxiety which has
Hmm.
developed in the last few months is these amount of content which you see where you know AI is doing photo shoots and films and product development and so many things today. UGC also actually is becoming more and more AI now. I keep on getting these ads, so
Yeah.
they're like, how do I stay relevant, right? So my question to you is that if you're talking to an agency founder, a creative freelancer, in your opinion, how do they still stay relevant for a marketer like you?
Right. See, honestly, I don't see AI as a replacement. I see it as a force multiplier. I think
Hmm.
AI will take away tasks, not taste, right? It will automate execution, but it cannot replicate your judgment, your intuition. Intuition, anyway, also is so different to each individual. That's why you see some people trusting their intuition and gut and making good decisions, some people not doing that, not listening to their gut and intuition and not being able to make those decisions. It will not take away your cultural sensitivity if you are a Hindu born in India, born in a middle class family, going living in Delhi. Like that builds a certain cultural sensitivity, right? AI will never be able to completely replicate that, which are core to great marketing. So, like for marketers, I think who will win are those who use AI to move faster, think broader, because it helps you able to reduce your mundane tasks, etc., etc., and it gives you a possibility to able to free yourself. But it is still, I think, that judgment will still come from you. You can spend more times on ideas and decisions and execution, not on decks and drafts and just the mundane things or things which could have been, or like things which have been taking time in terms of execution. So I think that's where I stand currently with what I understand and how much ever we've been able to integrate and work with AI.
No, fantastic. I think marketers hire creative people to make stuff which they think will work, right? Like make something interesting, do something which will resonate with my audience, saying, "Wow, this looks cool, this looks great," and it solves the problem. So
Yeah.
as long as I think your toolkit, your workflow, it could be different.
I think
It
the
would not be
need for
Adobe.
creative people will actually go more, Kavan, if you ask me. I think this is actually a better space. I think because, like I said, your intuition can't be replaced by AI. I mean, I'm happy to be proven wrong on the other things I've spoken about, and maybe I will be, because AI also is working on its own self in some million x speed. That is the next race we are fighting for sure. So I don't know. I don't know everything. I am speaking with my, but I am definitely sure about one thing, that it will not change your gut. It will not change your intuition and what you bring on the table because of that. So I think a creative person will be ever so more important in the world of AI.
Absolutely. No, I think that's perfectly put. I want to now hop into our last question. We are about time. Thank you so much for being so articulate and being so energetic so far. I am absolutely loving this. Um, as a parting thought, right? It's my last question to you is, let's say I'm a young marketer and I want to become a head of marketing one day. What advice would you give to them, right? If I'm young, what should I do in my earlier part of my career to increase my chances of becoming a leader one day?
Uh, so difficult. This is a difficult answer, I think, because it's very different now. The reason I'm saying is difficult is because it's very different now, that especially for somebody young wanting to do it. But I think one thing definitely I'll say, that don't chase titles. I mean, I tell this to my team also, that the title also what I currently have is something I just see as more responsibility. This is just working more and more and just aligning and making sure that, building discipline in your life, etc. But just to put it shortly, I think don't chase titles, chase your learning velocity. Early in your career, your job is not to look successful, it's to become dangerously competent and somebody people get dependent on. The money and leadership will follow. Competence is something, which you always have to look for. So if you are, let's say, in a team of, even if you're an intern and you're working for a team, and there are other four interns, how can you be an intern who stands out? And how will you stand out? You will stand out simply, matlab 10 saal pehle bhi, 10 saal aage bhi. How will you ever stand out? You will always stand out that how much somebody who you're working for can depend on you.
Absolutely. I think what a fantastic piece of advice, right? I think the work matters more than what it's called. Like labels are not important. In fact, God knows what work in labels will look like in the future. So I think optimize for learning in the work, and I think
Yeah.
you'll do a much better job. Superb. Thank you so much, Nisha. I hope you had a good time.
I had an amazing time. I think what I really loved about this interaction was that how nicely paced it is and how sharp your questioning is, where one gets to share their own journey also, but also being able to help young marketers understand. I hope they get something out of it.
Oh, they definitely will, and thank you so much for tuning in. For anybody who's waited all the way till the end, thank you so much for your time. If you'd like to hear another marketing leader, please subscribe to our channel, and a new episode will come out very very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.